understand that white America don't care because they never cared from the beginning. I appreciate y'all time. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So there you go, having a, Esau had to come.
I'm calling your bluff, you ain't no Greek ski-wee. Ooh, not Q's, not nukes, cargos, black boots. You know what to do, salute, wartime excellence.
We're here again at North Carolina Central. To my right, I have
Olivia Daniel, Kaylee Parks, Nadia,
Victoria,
Shauna,
Nate,
Josh, brother AJ Host.
First question is, does the HBCU help the black community?
very much does. Very much does.
Absolutely.
absolutely. For example, we have internships here. We have a lot of opportunities that are specifically for black students. That's just one example. Also, we have classes that you cannot take at PWIs. For example, Black History. You don't have them classes at PWIs. You're going to find out who you are if you didn't know before when you get to this HBCU.
I would say HBCUs are helping the black community by educating the community itself. Because a lot of times we're going to be grabbing kids from the community and we're sending them back with that base education that they need. So they know their rights, they know their history, they know what they need to know in order to get a job that is better than what we could ever dream.
Well, it brings revenue to this community because this is a very poor community that we're in right now, right? And so if students didn't go here, then there would be no jobs. And so by bringing the HBCU there, they had no choice but to update the area with stores and different things like that.
Well, they help the black community in a sense. They put a Band-Aid over a gaping hole. The problem is that who's funding the HBCU? If it's the Presbyterian, the Catholic, the Lutheran, or any other organization besides your organization like yourself or Garveyites, or we don't know what they're teaching us until you do research. So we need to be influenced by young men and young women that belong to organizations like yourself, that they can learn who they are.
networking, connected with a lot of black influential people. Conversations I've had with people in the fields that they're into, it's crazy.
HBCUs are encouraging young black people to do better because a lot of us come from impoverished areas. A lot of us are first generation. So I think HBCUs encourage young black people to do better.
So why did you choose an HBCU versus a PWI, predominantly a white institution?
Well, since I was a child, my father raised me up in Garveyism. So I was a young Garveyite. I knew that the lies that they taught me in school wasn't the truth. So I was trying to seek the truth. But the problem is, even at HBCUs, they don't always tell you the truth. So we need conscious-minded individuals like yourself who are involved with the student union, involved with fraternities and organizations, so that the black men and women learn the truth about who they are.
It's more comfortable. You feel like you're around your people. It feels like a home, and HBCU is an experience unlike anything you'll experience at a PWI.
Right, yeah, it's home. It's definitely home. And, the experience you never get, this has been amazing. I went to a JUCO before here. I'm a 2-year, so I've only been here for 2 years, junior and senior year. But, I would not change a thing. I love HBCU. This has made me, be who I really am. I'm really who I am. I enjoy it.
HBCU over PWIs is an entire experience. At PWIs, you don't really get to embrace your culture or other cultures because it's all just entirely one culture.
Why? Because here you're not just a number. And I know that sounds cliche, but I'm from New York and from the Bronx, and I tried to go to a school where it was just an auditorium of people. At the end of the day, did anyone know my name? At the end of the day, did anybody give me a reference? No, none of them.
So it's the more the comfortability, I guess, feeling like family, or maybe.
But not even it's more not only comfort, accountability. Because you think you go to HBCU that they're gonna make you slack. No, they're gonna pull the greatness out of you. Look, this is what we want for our people.
Okay, me, it's legacy. A lot of my family went here. My grandfather was a professor here, so it was an easy choice. PWIs are cool, but a lot of times you're just a number. Here, They treat you like family. You come into a class and the professor knows your name. That's important. That makes you want to do the work.
I didn't actually apply to a PWI. Honestly, I wanted the black experience. I came here, like I said, when it was the old Chile, when it was like all males, it was no co-ed. So I bought into that black experience. I slept on the floor. It was crazy because it was like a hell of an experience for me, and I knew I wanted to come here.
HBCUs, what are they teaching us about our identity?
I think HBCUs teach you where you really come from, because the professors here that study African American history, they care about it.
It does. It teaches you who you are. I'm mixed. I'm half black and white, but I feel like I was able to embrace the black culture. It feels like you're at home. It feels like you are a part of something, and an HBCU is an important component of black culture.
Yeah, I'm also as mixed as well. I'm black and white, so like, you know, they give you that sense of home, you know, like some things you don't understand, but like they're always here to help you with everything, and I feel like it's definitely like a good opportunity to have. Like, I'm glad I went to HBCU, for sure.
Same here. I grew up at a predominantly white school. I also went to a PWI. Hated it there. I came here and it was the best thing I could have ever done.
Well, I was a psychology major, and they had black psychology, which is never something that you usually see taught. And that's very important because, you know, there's this European standard that we live by, and then there's black psychology, which teaches a different whole mindset. And you talked about slavery. So, I mean, that was taught, and that was an option that the professor was passionate about, making sure that we learn about our people.
What is the purpose of fraternity and sorority?
Fraternities and sororities offer a different type of community that's more selective, and also a way to express yourself and have connections. Like, you make connections with people who are of your race and of your usually university, and it offers you a network to be able to then go from your university to another university who has the same connections. And that's
Yeah, like HBCU's fraternity and sorority, like you never have someone that doesn't understand you. You know, they're always there to help you and stuff. And they're always like willing to do stuff. You know, like having a sorority, it's a brotherhood and sisterhood for life. You know, you can't ever leave it. You know, and they're always gonna help you no matter what you go through.
Yeah, I'm not affiliated, so I can't speak too much on it. But I do know that it's a sense of family, and they have a lot of connections. And if you look at white sororities and fraternities, it's a lot about partying. But you come to an HBCU and look at them, it's about family. It's all about family, and they're locked in for life. It's not really about, and they do a lot of volunteering and doing things for the community that are required for that. And it's less about partying. It's just a lot deeper.
Now, when it was first formed, it was kind of to unify people and kind of have your own organizations that would be centered around sisterhood and brotherhood, separate us from the other sororities and fraternities, which were only for Caucasians.
Focusing on achievement and networking.
Question about going into your fraternity still. There was a study done by StopHazing.org, right? They said about 55% of students that are in clubs, they've been hazed. So how do we lower that statistic to help out? Because you went for brotherhood.
Yeah.
So if you're hazed or you're beat on, that's not brotherhood.
Well,
how do we stop that?
I disagree. Okay. God says in the word that I chasten who I love. What is chasten? I mean, it doesn't mean that I have to physically beat you, but you have to go through some type of struggle, just like David did when he had to struggle in order to believe that he could defeat the lion, or he could defeat the giants, or he could defeat Saul. You know, just like Daniel in the lion's den, that was a haze. The Hebrew boys in the fiery furnace, that was a haze. Why would you be in the fiery furnace if you was being taught something? But I understand that things that are precious have to go through pressure so they can get the impurities removed. So to me, hazing is removing of the impurities.
I guess education, information, educating people, like, you know, like having those, like, I don't want to say job fairs, but kind of job fairs, like kind of showing you like what it is type thing.
No, what I'm telling you, fraternities and sororities are different. It's not, they say hazing, but it's not like that. It's basically just like you're being introduced to what the organization is about, and I don't think it should be looked at as hazing as if a PWI. I feel like the term hazing came from PWIs. I think it depends on the Student Greek Association to just make sure they hold people accountable.
You can't. What they're gonna say is what they're gonna say. Yeah. It's not hazing.
It's hearsay.
Does white America care about your HBCU degree?
Some of it. Some of white America cares.
All right, how so?
Well, some of white America believes that, black people deserve what we say we deserve.
My personal opinion, honestly, they look at it like, oh, it's a pat on the back, you got a degree.
Absolutely not. I'm sorry. But you can really tell. You can tell by the amount of money that we get in our endowments. If you look it up, you can just see like the drastic change from your normal PWI to an HBCU. We are deprived of millions of dollars. That could honestly be taken and improve everyone's lives astronomically. But because we kind of get overlooked because we are an HBCU, we don't really have that opportunity.
Hell no.
They very much don't. They look at HBCU degrees as if they're less, and that is absolutely not true.
I agree with what they said, and I feel like, you know what I'm saying, like going to a PWI and coming here, it's the same education, if not better.
Unfortunately, we live in a place where it's more about cronyism and nepotism than about knowledge and information. Because if it was about knowledge and information, they would recognize that first they stole everything from us and claimed it for themselves. So why should I have to come back to you to beg for acceptance when everything that you have was based off my ancestors? So in all actuality, they are my children. They should be coming to me asking for forgiveness and asking for enlightenment instead of the other way around.
So, hey, that's pretty good. I like all the answers you gave. So we dealing with our people. All right, we at the HBCU so we can learn a little bit more about. It's supposed to be black. So we're supposed to get a black experience, right? You said we went into the Harlem Renaissance. That's kind of recent. We want to go even further back. So that's what we do, right? We teach our history a little more. That's what purpose of this interview. We want to deal with our people, right? So I get a script real quick. So, because what's happened is we deal with the Bible, right? So we've been discontinued from our history, right? That Jeremiah 17:4. We've been discontinued from our history, and this is one of the things that we're not learning in HBCUs, right? Because they, like everyone else, they get funding from the same people that start the PWIs, right? The government, white man, so on and so forth. So there's things that they will not teach that are controversial, right? So bring that out real quick.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
So God in here is speaking to his chosen people, right? He's saying, you're going to discontinue from the heritage that I gave you, right? So the heritage God gave us, according to the Bible, is his laws and commandments, right? So we discontinue from that. We discontinue from knowing who we are. So it's like you got to go to a HBCU to learn about your history. Like, shouldn't that be taught from you?
Oh, it most definitely should. And we can really see, like, just the impact it has.
Exactly, it is an impact. Based off, you said based off the times, like what kind of impact is it having?
There should be no reason why coming in, Black students should not know just simple stuff. So, like, for example, Shay's Rebellion. There should be no reason why I should be learning about this firsthand at an HBCU.
College, right?
Yes. A lot of people don't really know about the first coup in government in America, which was in Wilmington in 1892, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's some more history that we're learning. And now, not knowing this history, can you see, and we're going to get this script in a second, not knowing this history, can you see that reflection in kind of how we carry ourselves in this college? Like, because we ain't here just for education. You see what's going on in these colleges.
A lot of times kids and young adults, and we are forgetting about the bigger picture. We're all about having a good time, but not for a long time, because we're living with this, with the saying, you only live once. Well, exactly. We only live once. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, so a lot of these kids, they are robbing themselves of the opportunity to do more than what they think that they can, or more than they intended to, because of just living, only once. They're only doing everything that they want to do in the moment, rather than trying to do everything that you can to impact the world.
I like that. Sister got nice words on this thing. Okay, so go ahead and read that real quick. So this is the Bible speaks on those results. Go ahead.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
So God's people, the Israelites, right? That would include us, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We those people, right? It says we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And you see that here, like we come here, we get that education, right? And we go back into society. But what happens is we end up profiting the current setup here, building this nation, but not ourselves, not our people, right? And it's that further destruction, because, most brothers come here, they chasing tail, not getting in grades, right? Sisters coming, they gonna turn up, have a good time, Some of them got to drop out because they get pregnant, stuff like that's going on. And nobody's focusing on, like you said, the goal, like what? Get out of here, get this education, come back, help my people, right? Go ahead.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
So that's why, we got lost ties with our God. So what we trying to do is bring our people back to those ties with the Most High, and come out of the ignorant state that we're in, But it's a good, college is a good step, But it's more to it. You got to have that spiritual side and that knowledge of God and your true history, which goes back before the Harlem Renaissance and slavery and all that.
Lamentations 4:17.
It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain health.
Go ahead.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
So with this right here, it says that as for us, read again, I'm sorry.
Our eyes have yet failed for our vain help.
Because the vain help is, we look for a nation, which is the so-called white man, white America. We look for acceptance. And God's saying that that's a vain help. We don't need to look for acceptance to them. Why? Because Jeremiah said, No. I'm about to help you. I'm going to give you the conclusion of it in a minute. Jeremiah 17:4. Because what we proving to you that as a people, we look for an image. We look for something to go to. And the only image that we have, because we got brought here in slavery, is what? White men, white women. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. This is HBCU lit off HBWI. Yeah, they all lit off PWIs. So therefore, we try to find a way to be like them. You see what I'm saying? But do it separate. But we're still trying to be like them. Watch this.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
So our true nationality as a people is Israel. We are the Israelites according to the Bible. Right. We are the biblical Jews. Our father is African American. He's from the tribe of Judah. Right. So it says that we will discontinue from our heritage. So it says we will discontinue from our heritage. Our heritage is God's laws and commandments. So when we discontinue from that, guess what we're looking at? White people, for instance, because we came out here for slavery, that took our nationality, our identity, and our laws and commandments from us. Come on.
Yes, sir. Thou shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
We lost that from what God gave us. Come on.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
So everything we've been done, we be serving our enemies. Come on.
in the land which thou knowest not. For thou hast kindled a fire in mine anger.
Because we made our God mad at us because we broke God's laws and commandments. Like today, the day is the Lord's Sabbath day. We out here doing something outside of God's laws and commandments. Now, let me go to the Maccabees. We said about fraternities, sororities, and cheerleading, sports, right? The reason why you got, okay. The reason why I mentioned fraternities, sororities, and so on and so forth, it's a history behind it. With fraternities and sororities, what is it? Greek letters, right? That's Grecians. We weren't never Grecians. We was under Greek captivity. We were the gladiators. You understand? Okay, watch this.
All right. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 10.
Go ahead, 15.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
Not setting by
14,
the
14.
14.
Come back. Hold on real quick. We almost finished. Now we answer a question real quick. Go ahead.
All right. Verse 14.
It's according to the fraternity and sororities, okay?
That the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices,
Go ahead.
hasten to be partakers in the unlawful allowance.
It said we was partakers of unlawful allowances under the Greeks, right? Go ahead.
In the place of exercise.
Go ahead.
After the game of discus called them forth.
Because you just came up, so we try to make sure they answer we answer their question. Go ahead.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
They didn't honor the father. Our fathers was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the Bible. People that God chosen, right? Go ahead.
But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
But we chose we neglect our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and decided into Grecian customs, like fraternities and sorority. That's Greek customs. Cheerleading and stuff, Greek customs. We were supposed to be the women of our nation of Israel are princesses of the Most High God. Y'all are princesses, but we didn't know that. That's why we looked for other avenues, because we was lost, we was destroyed as a people. Last one, now I'll let y'all go, okay? Now the last question, I asked you, does white America care about our degrees? Y'all say hell no. I got one more.
My mom is always on go. She's obviously white, my dad's black, but there's never a time when she doesn't agree or defend the black community because she knows that that's a big deal and we're
100%. This is not a white and black thing. I'm gonna let you know that. It's not, you know what I'm saying? This is not a white and black thing. It's just showing truth upon this stuff actually happened, right? You hear with me? This actually happened. I'm gonna say it's one more. Stay with me, it's one more. Ezekiel 35 and 3. Last question, okay? Last answer.
Ezekiel 35 and
It's one more. That's it.
Ezekiel 35 and 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
So it said this was a perpetual hatred. Go back to verse 3.
Yes,
Just to know who it's talking about. Verse 2, let them see it. Let them see it.
And say unto it, verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir.
Mount Seir is a nation of Edom, according to the Bible. Edom was a red people, which are the so-called white. They just shoot facts, right? But verse 5, watch this.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Because in slavery, they killed us, right? But this is facts, this is true. We're not making this as a hatred thing. But the point is that's why that we say at the end that white America don't care, because they never cared from the beginning. I appreciate y'all time. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you. So there you go, Esau had to come and mess it up. A real Esau had to come and mess it up. Got all this hatred and stuff like that. But we do appreciate it. So, hey, Shalom Israel. Most High Christ bless.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.